gonna share the 5 things that I wish I knew before I bought a SpotOn Fence. Now, hopefully this will help you decide whether this is right for you. This thing's almost $1,000, which is far from an impulse purchase for most of us, but is the price worth it? And how does it stack up against other options like traditional fencing and other GPS collars? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to expect from SpotOn, and hopefully you'll have an idea of whether it's right for you. Plus, by the end of this sentence, you will see my discount code, which will help you quite a bit with my first of the 5 things. Thing number 1, the cost is not the whole story. Let's talk about that nearly $1,000 price tag, because $999 is a big number, and I certainly raised my eyebrow the first time that I saw it. But once I started looking into what they actually give you, it started to make a little bit more sense. Unlike a lot of other GPS fence systems, SpotOn does not charge you any monthly subscription fee to use the basic features of the collar. You can set up perimeters, train your dog, and use the containment system without any additional subscription or fee. That alone sets it apart. Now, if you want real-time location tracking or escape alerts, that is where their additional monthly subscription does kick in. It's about $10 a month, but you can get it for a little less if you pay for a year or 2 up front. It goes down to about $7.50 per month on their longest prepaid plan. They also let you split the upfront cost of the collar with interest-free payments, which can help take some of the pressure off. And if you're buying for multiple dogs, you get a $100 discount per additional collar, which, every little bit helps. Compare that to putting in a traditional physical fence, which could cost easily $10,000, or compared to other GPS collar options that charge that monthly subscription fee, and SpotOn starts to look like a much better long-term option, especially if you have a lot of ground to cover. Bottom line, yes, it is expensive up front. But if you are looking for a long-term solution, especially on a larger property where traditional fencing could be cost prohibitive, the math can work in your favor. Thing number 2, GPS fencing is simple, but has its quirks. What sets SpotOn apart is how easy it is to create a boundary. No wires, no digging, you just open the app and walk the perimeter or draw it on a map and you're done in a few minutes. That type of flexibility is great if you have a large yard or a weirdly shaped property, but there is a trade-off. GPS drift is to be expected. Now, even with SpotOn's upgraded dual feed antenna system and forest mode, that boundary can move by a few feet, usually around 3 feet in open areas, but it could be as much as 10 feet in dense forests or near buildings. That's unfortunately just how satellite tracking works. If you want the most accurate results, walk the perimeter of your boundary with the collar on. You can easily draw it on a map much quicker, but you do lose a little bit of accuracy that way. In either case, you want to make sure the boundary is at least 80 feet wide, which gives your dog enough time to notice the warning and stop. This isn't a physical barrier, and it's not trying to be, but for anyone juggling multiple locations or who travel often with their dog, or are just trying to quickly set up safe spaces in things like the woods or near a lakeside cabin, SpotOn gives you a level of reliability and portability that traditional fencing just can't match. Number 3, training makes or breaks the experience. SpotOn isn't something you can just slap on your dog and hope for the best. It works, but only if you take the time to actually train. Poppy took to it right away, but based on the small number of negative reviews I found online, it seems like a lot of people were more frustrated with their dog not picking up on the collar's cues, which to me sounds a little bit more like a training issue than an issue with the collar itself. Static correction is optional, and many dogs, like Poppy, did just fine with, tones or vibration. But whichever method you go with, the key is to be consistent. SpotOn gives you a great deal of support to make the process easier. A free 30-minute console, one-on-one help if you need it, and a full set of video tutorials built into their app. The plan itself is pretty straightforward. 2 15-minute sessions per day for a week or 2. Not that difficult, but you just have to stick with it. Not all dogs are as intuitive as Poppy. Frankly, none of them are as adorable. Isn't that right, Pop? Oh, hello. Anyway, the collar follows a pretty clear pattern. About 10 feet from the boundary, the dog will hear an audio tone. As they approach a little closer, they receive an additional tone, and then finally they receive either vibration or static correction as they cross the boundary. If they decide to re-enter the safe area, the collar doesn't give them a hard time. It just plays a tone as they cross back over the boundary. If you're not planning to train, this system is not for you. But if you're willing to have some follow through, dogs pick up on it pretty quickly, and the payoffs are really solid. Thing number 4, the collar works without cell service, but the app does not. One thing I really liked about SpotOn when I was reading up on it is that the core system runs entirely on GPS. No Wi-Fi or cell service is required. That makes it ideal for, remote properties, camping, or really anywhere that cell service can be spotty. You can build as many fences as you want, trigger the collar's feedback, and go through the entire training process in the app without ever paying for a subscription. The containment side works entirely on its own. Now, the tracking features, seeing your dog's real-time location, getting notifications when they leave a boundary, or using the come home prompts, those all come bundled with SpotOn's additional optional subscription. Now, you don't have to add the collar to your cellular plan. SpotOn uses its own cellular service in order to connect that. So if you're in an area with poor cell service, those features might not work well, even if you're paying for them. However, the GPS containment still functions anywhere that satellites can reach, which is, basically anywhere. You can pause or cancel tracking whenever you want and then just restart it later. That's totally fine. But people with multiple dogs should remember that each collar requires its own subscription. If real-time location tracking is a priority for you, make sure to check your area's cell coverage first. But if reliable wireless containment is your main goal, you're pretty much set to go wherever you are. Thing number 5, it's built for serious use and serious dogs. One thing I didn't realize before I bought SpotOn was just how durable this thing is. It's not a delicate piece of tech. It's built for dogs that move around a lot. So whether you're setting it up for a cabin, or you're hiking, or you're managing a large property, or you're traveling, this is meant to come with you. Now, I've tried this in different conditions, but it's rated apparently to work in temperatures from -30 all the way up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're really set all year round. Now, that being said, I haven't taken this thing out in -30 degree temperatures. I'd never bring my dog anywhere near a place that has -30 degree temperatures. So, it's probably a little bit of overkill if you ask me, but if it makes you feel more confident, that's fine with me. Battery life is solid, up to 25 hours with tracking on, or up to 35 in power saving mode. It charges fast, it updates while charging, and for most people that'll be plenty. I have seen some reviewers online complain that it won't work for multiple days without a charge, but frankly, this thing isn't meant to stay on your dog 24 hours a day. If you take it off him every once in a while, throw it on the charger, you'll be set to go, and your dog's neck will thank you. Fit matters here because of the GPS antenna, which should be facing up in order to maintain a strong connection, even in dense areas. In the box, you will receive 2 different kinds of contact points to account for the 2 main fur types, a tester for the contact points, a charging dock, and a wall adapter. Everything feels solid and built to last. SpotOn is designed and assembled in the US, and their support is based in New Hampshire, which is available 7 days a week. You get a 90-day return window, a 1-year warranty, and they will even replace the whole collar once if it is lost or damaged. So, is this a must-have for people with small yards? No. But if your dog has a lot of room to roam, maybe near water or in tough terrain, this is made to withstand those conditions. If you live in an apartment or you rarely travel with your dog, there are simpler and frankly cheaper options that probably make a lot more sense for you. So, who should buy the SpotOn Fence? Frankly, I wouldn't without taking advantage of the discount link in the description below. But I would say it's right for you if you have a medium to large size dog, your property is at least half an acre, if you want some flexibility with the shape of your boundary, and you're willing to follow through with the training. The fact that there are no required monthly fees is also a huge plus for most people. Feel free to skip it if you have a dog that's smaller than 15 pounds, you're not willing to follow through with the training, you want real-time location data with an area with spotty cell service, or if your property is less than half an acre. It's not the right solution for you. SpotOn is not the cheapest GPS fence option. However, it is one of the most complete offerings available, with the combination of no necessary subscription fee, the highest degree of GPS accuracy, durable construction, and solid training support makes it stand out from its competitors. Now, for the right situation, it is a game changer that gives your dog the freedom that they want while also keeping them safe. If you want to give it a shot, use the discount code in the description below. That is all we have for this video. If you have any questions about SpotOn or GPS fencing, feel free to drop those in the comments. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you in the next video.